I noticed if my sleep is interrupted at night, I'm tired all day long. So tell me, how does that affect you when you have to wake up for various, no matter what reason?
Well, yeah, anytime you interrupt a full sleep cycle,
Yeah.
a couple of things are going to happen. Number one is most people are going to be fatigued. They're going to feel it all day.
Okay.
Another really interesting thing is, and
Mhm.
by the way, this is something that I use a lot when I'm working with people and getting them to do heart work without them knowing it. It's when you when you when you wake up in the morning,
Yeah.
you ever notice how if you like hit the pause button on the alarm clock, go back to sleep, how much harder it is to wake up?
Yeah. Oh,
Every time you do that, every time you hit the pause button and
yeah.
go back to sleep, you actually go into a deeper sleep.
Oh.
And so that's why it's harder to wake up. So
Mm.
like when
Mhm.
I did an experiment that people didn't know I was doing with them, but at one of our heart physics sessions one summer, a few years back, and so
Mhm.
what I would do is I would count them down
Mhm.
and keep them there for about 10 seconds, and
Mhm.
then I'd count them up,
Uh-huh.
and then I would count them down, and I did that about 5 or 6 times in a row.
Wow.
People were literally
Uh-huh.
falling out of their chairs
Wow.
because by that third or fourth or fifth time,
Yeah.
they would be in such a deep relaxation state that they couldn't sit up.
Wow. So did you ask their permission at all, or you
Yeah,
just do it?
they could have stopped. They didn't want to do. And I mean, I had a purpose behind it too, because I wanted to show them how that if you're having trouble getting to a real deep state of relaxation, just don't get frustrated. Don't start all the negative self-talk. Just count yourself back up, count yourself right back down.
Right.
And when I
Mhm.
create triggers, you've heard me talk about creating triggers.
Yes. Oh,
I
yeah.
will do that. I will count myself up and down 3 or 4 or 5 times, and then I'll create a trigger.
That's fantastic.
And when I create that trigger and I'm in that really, really deep state,
Mhm.
it's there for life.
Wow. That is so good. And you came up with all these ideas, right?
Well, not by myself. I mean, I've studied all kinds of stuff, and so I pick up bits and pieces, and then I from other people that do experiments and scientists and this sort of stuff and medical teams. But then I figure out, okay, how would I make that work in this setting? How would I bring this over and make this beneficial?
Mhm.
Like a really interesting thing that you can do with people
Mhm.
is let's say that you're going to be talking to somebody, and you really need to make sure they're going to be truthful. So let's say that they're sitting over here in a chair beside my desk, and we're talking. And I was like, would you scoot your chair back a little bit? And they'll scoot the chair back a little bit, and then in a minute I said, oh no, kind of move back over that way just a little bit, and I'll give them some directives like that about three or
Mhm.
four or 5 times in a row. Well,
Yeah.
what happens then? They go into fight or flight mode.
Oh man.
And so when you go into fight or flight mode, flight, when you're trying to act civilized,
Mhm.
flight is not going to be that you're going to get up and run.
Mhm.
You're going to do it emotionally.
Through body language, right? You're gonna
Oh,
read.
well, everything. I mean, you're going to do it. And so what will happen is that person, even though their eyes are open and they're talking to you, they will take themselves into a meditative state.
Wow.
So, one of I'm an experimenter. Always have been.
Mhm.
And I always tell people, is I figure stuff out not because I'm smarter than other people, but just because I'm willing to experiment.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You just try something. If it don't work, you go, okay, it didn't work. I don't care. You know?
The other day when was it 2 years ago when I came visit you with my husband,
Yeah.
I was just wondering. I said, Rick, what if they test us? They hypnotize us. They pull some informations out of us. He was okay.
Well, could have happened, couldn't it?